Hi, this is Colie Brice for WSHD 91.7 FM in Eastport, Maine. What you're about to listen to is the first part of an interview I did with legendary guitarist Dick Dale, who will be performing August 9th at Rossport Farms Guitars by the Sea. It's going to be an incredible day of music, and really looking forward to being a part of that. So I'm going to play one of Dick's most famous tunes, Miserlou, before go into the interview in progress. Recorded June 18th, 2014 with assistance from my good friend Rob Schumann.
As a middle-aged guy who also likes to beat up a Strat a little bit, I find that really inspiring, and I wonder if you'd share with our listeners a little bit about some of your life philosophy that keeps you hanging tough like that.
Well, just get me a new body and I'll be happy.
Yeah, that's kind of...
Through my life, my wife and I, Lana, believe in, your body is your temple, and we don't put anything... We have a shirt that says, your body follows your mind. So don't be so weak in the mind, because with me, I've been in the martial arts ever since I was a teenager. So they taught us your body is your temple. You don't desecrate it. Don't put things in it that's going to wipe you out, kill you. That's bad for you. So we've always thought that. We've never had alcohol in our body. We don't smoke.
Well, you certainly outlived a lot of your peers and contemporaries.
Well, yeah, we don't eat red meat. We don't, all of that stuff, we just don't put in our body, That gives us the strength to keep on going, and at 77, people say, and yet I've been dealing with cancer for the last 13 years, and diabetes on top of that, renal failure. The doctors say, oh, you can't get on stage. Radiation has put holes in me, and chemo and all this other stuff. But, I got cancer 20 years ago. Lana was a nurse. She was trained by a World War II nurse. So she's my angel from heaven that came and saved me 3 times when the doctors messed up. So the whole thing in a nutshell is that we continue because there are other people out there that are going through the same thing, and they see me on stage. They say, how does he do it? And it's all with your mind. She has MS, my wife. Yeah, Herschel tumor on her thyroid in her throat. Goes through pain like crazy, but we don't believe in taking pain pills or anything like that because doctors don't tell you that it retards healing 50%.
Right.
So we keep our bodies moving and our minds moving. By not thinking about yourself, you help other people. So you're always doing something. So that's what we do. One thing when the kids ask me, how do you do it on stage, and how do you play and everything, I say, sit down, son, let me cleanse your soul. It's a psychological thing that you go through, and that's the reason why we don't, I don't like the way people, performers, that treat their bodies and what they do to themselves, and then they die at an early age.
Right, you'd had some interaction with Keith Moon at one point, didn't you?
So I had interaction with so many...
Everybody.
And Jimi Hendrix, everybody. When I found Jimmy, he was playing bass for Little Richard in the bar in Pasadena to 30 people.
Oh, yeah?
And he was a very nice, quiet, humble person. When I got to meet him, and he would come to me and say, how do you do this, how do you do that? I would show him all the different slides and stuff like that. In fact, what's his name, who used to open for me in different concerts at times, his drummer, Buddy Miles, that's who it was. Buddy would say to the audience, Jimmy used to say, I don't know if I can be censored on this, he says, Jimmy used to say, I got my best shit from Dick Darrell, stuff like that. The thing is that he changed because his mind became, once again, your body follows your mind. He became weak with people. A lot of kids, when they're playing, they first start playing, all of a sudden, they get a chance to be in a band. And then, if they play really well, if they're playing a band that's making news, being popular, they go, oh man, they just asked me to play for them. And so they start playing for them, and the damn band starts doing drugs all the time when they're on the road. And if the kid has never done drugs before, or anything like that, he's surrounded with it. And he feels that he's going to do it, otherwise they'll fire him, like he's not part of the gang. And I tell people, walk your own path, and the right people will follow you. And just say, would my mom do this, or would my dad do this, or would God do this? Sometimes you have parents that are not straight and normal and good.
You seem like you've been able to maintain a very fierce independence despite being in the middle of so many mainstream pop culture things. You seem like you've been steadfast and sticking to what you do and the way you do it on your own terms.
Yes, and that came from being in the martial arts and trained by masters from all over the world. And they taught me that. And my dad and my mother, they were very strict. They didn't smoke, they didn't drink, they didn't do any of those things. And God bless them. And that's what I give credence to, is to where my parents were strong to me. But even though that happens, if your mind is weak, then your body follows your mind. Because like I said, you want to play music, you want to do this, and they say, well, if you want to work for me, well, it's not only in music, it's in everything else. Building houses, doing in business. The people who are powerful, if they have bad habits, and then you go to work for them. I mean, when I first signed with Capitol Records, I walked into the room, and the head man was sitting there, and the first thing he asked me if I wanted to smoke a joint. He had the best stuff that there was.
Right.
And I said, no, I don't put that crap in my body. So, but most people, I would say 99% of them would do it because they want that contract. And with me, my love of life was surfing. I'd go surfing from sunup to sundown. I was raising animals from all over the world to preserve them from being killed by poachers. And that's what my wife and I are heavy advocates of that. And gosh, we've gone over 200 save these animals. So, it's right is right, wrong is wrong. There is no gray matter in my life, and it's always been that way. 1 and 1 is 2, it's not 3. And it's a shame what's going on with people in, say, power, And if a band is on the cover of a famous magazine, and then they've got their power, and then all of a sudden they can do good, you know, or they can infect somebody's brain with the wrong way of life. And we just don't do that. I don't believe in that, and neither does my wife.
Do you think there's...
So we set an example. We set an example. It's like Johnny Appleseed going across the country and helping others, you know, that really need it. And you know what? The funny part about it is, let me tell you the ones who really should have it. There's a young child. There's two things on this planet that don't have evil, that don't have insecurity, that don't have all the negative things in their lives. And that is a baby animal and a baby child. And what we do to them, if you kick a dog, he's going to run from you. In the same way, if you yell and scream at a little baby, you're going to scare the hell out of it. And you're going to make it totally inferior within his own brain, being afraid of everything. You've got to give love to these people. That's why the monk doesn't speak. He lives with Mother Nature, with the animals, and what's growing around him. And they smile, because sometimes someone says something, and the way we perceive it is not the way it's perceived. And there's a saying that a master once told me, because I've been with monks, and I have my donyo signed by over a dozen of the monks. And they say, to experience is to know is to understand is to tolerate, and to tolerate is to have peace. That's third eye. It took me 18 years to understand that, and another 18 years to apply it. But one of the best statements that was said to me by a master was, thoughts become words. Be careful. Those words can mean two different things, either good or bad to someone else. So thoughts become words. Words become actions. Actions become habits. Habits become your character. And your character becomes your destiny. And that's why a monk just smiles and bows when he's given a gift from another one. And when he makes a gift for them, they smile back and bow, and they don't use their energy in their body to speak. They do it by actions. So my life has been followed by that type of thinking, and my wife is the same way, to the way we feel in the martial arts we always taught. And that's that, you know. And so my music is like a cover of a book. If you see the cover of a book and you like it, you buy the book.
Right.
And then what happens is, if you read the book, all of a sudden, if it's not good, you throw it away. If it's good, you read it completely through.
Right.
And that's what we try to do with people by music. They feel, every style person likes what I do. When I'm in Spain, they put me on the cover of the heavy metal magazines. Why? Because I'm the first guy that ever created with Leo, who was like a second dad to me, kind of.
Right.
The first output transformers that created power.
Now here's the youngster you read about recently in Life magazine. Is all the equipment okay there, Dick? Okay. Here from Boston and Quincy, Mass, and now the coast, Dick Dale surfing and a swinging. So let's have a fine hand.
Well, I looked at the heavies, they were moving in fast. I knew I better make it, 'cause they just don't last. I'm surfing, yeah, swinging and a surfing. Yeah, the sand and the sea is the only life for me. I'm surfing, yeah, just surfing. Hot dogging on my board, gonna have me a ball. Rode a breaker in, and that was all. I'm surfing, yeah, swinging and a surfing. Yeah, the sand and the sea is the only life for me. I'm surfing.
They're very nice to have you on our stage. That was very exciting, and these shots from the Pacific Coast just wonderful.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Dick. Let's have a nice hand for these youngsters as we go off, okay?
So in case you're wondering, that was in fact Ed Sullivan, the legendary host and guy who brought so many great acts to the American public and really the world's attention. Beatles, Elvis, and Dick Dale, who will be performing August 9th here in Eastport at Rossport Farms, Guitars by the Sea. I'm very fortunate to be opening that show along with the Sean Mencher Band, Hawk Callowhite and Friends, 3 Ice Picks, our own Steve Irwin, and Pete Witham and the Cosmic Zombies. It's going to be an amazing day. And in the next couple weeks, I'm going to be giving additional parts of this interview to WSHD's preeminent radio personality, Bob DeWitt, up on the hill. This is Colie Brice for WSHD 91.7 FM. Thank you for listening.